Hi, and welcome back to the Citizen Channel. We carry on our look at the Benjamin Mendy trial taking place at Chester Crown Courts. We've got to day 15, Wednesday, the 7th of September 2022. Please, if you're new to the Citizen Channel, please push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications, give us a thumbs up, make a very hot old City fan very, very happy as we look back at look at the case today on Wednesday, the 7th of September. Just to conclude or bring us up to date, Mendy, 28, has been charged with 8 counts of rape against 5 women, 1 count of attempted rape and 1 count of sexual assault. The offence is alleged to have taken place on 5 different occasions at his Cheshire home between October 2018 and August 2021, relating to 7 women in total. With Mr Mendy, and Mr Maturi, aged 41, from Eccles, Salford, has also been charged with 8 counts of rape and 4 counts of sexual assault relating to 8 women. Both men deny all charges. Judge Stephen Everett resides at Chester Crown Court, and my thanks to the Manchester Evening News for their court timeline. Much appreciated. So we'll start at 10:51 a.m. The jury are hearing a video interview now from woman 7. She spoke with police after alleging she was raped by Mr Mendy and Mr Maturi on the same date in July 2021. She also alleges that she was raped and sexually assaulted by Mr Maturi in August 2021. Both men deny all charges. Woman 7 says she was contacted by her friend, woman 6, who told her she was attending a pool party at Benjamin Mendy's house. She asked her whether she wanted to come and she agreed. She said she knew Mr Maturi from parties at an apartment in Chapel Street in Salford previously, but had not met Mr Mendy before. When she arrived, she said Mr Mendy was in his swimming trunks. Later, she, Mr Mendy, Mr Maturi and others went to a nightclub in Manchester city centre drinking tequila and vodka and lemonade, she said. They later returned to Mr Mendy's home in Prestbury. I was quite drunk, I would say, by this point, so I can't remember absolutely everything, she said. She said she remembered being in the pool at Mr Mendy's home. She said woman 6 went to sleep. Woman 7 said she didn't remember leaving. Said she didn't remember leaving the pool room. The next thing she said she remembered was being in the living room alone with Mr Mendy. She said he had both of my hands. He was having sex and holding me down and telling me don't move, and said that about 3 or 4 times. I don't remember what happened after that. When she woke up the following morning, she said Mr Mendy was next to her. He left the room shortly after without saying anything. She said she was looking for her jogging trousers, which she had been wearing the previous morning. She later found them in Mr Mendy's locked trophy room, and her knickers were also on the floor in the room, she said. But I don't remember being in that room, she told police. Woman 7 said she didn't know much else about Mr Mendy other than that he was French and played for Manchester City. Woman 7 is questioned further about the alleged rape. She says she was lay on her front on a sofa in the living room in Mr Mendy's house. She tells the officer, I remember he was having sex with me. I was trying to move away and was saying, don't move, and holding my hands down. I remember feeling uncomfortable and knowing I'd wanted to get up and not be in that situation. Asked how long the alleged rape lasted, she said, I can't really remember that much. I just remembered a part of me trying to move. I remember feeling scared and trying to move and feeling uncomfortable. The complainant says she didn't say anything at the time. She adds, the next thing I remember is waking up the next morning in one of the bedrooms. Woman 7 said she didn't see Mr Mendy the following morning. She said she returned to Mr Mendy's home after a couple of weeks later, after being invited by woman 6, who said they were having dinner there. She said she watched Love Island in a cinema room at the property with Mr Maturi before going home. Asked about any contact she had with Mr Mendy at the nightclub, woman 7 says, I didn't speak to him or dance with him or anything. I spoke to Sahar, Mr Maturi, a bit. Asked if she had any contact with Mr Mendy at his home. After they returned there, she adds, I don't remember speaking to Ben, Mr Mendy. The officer asked how she came to make a complaint against Mr Mendy. She says she saw a post on Snapchat from a friend which said, I became one of the 97% last night. Woman 7 said she messaged her saying she hoped she was okay. She said when it came out in the news about Ben, that she wondered if it had anything to do with her friend. She said she messaged her friend saying, it wasn't Ben, was it? She said it was. Woman 7 said she replied, I'm really sorry it happened to you. It happened to me as well. Asked what she thought her friend meant by the 97%, the complainant says she believes it refers to how many women get sexually assaulted and raped. The first interview was concluded and the jury have left court for a short break. At At 12:04, the jury are back in court and are now hearing a second video interview which police conducted with woman 7. The police officer asks how drunk she felt on a scale of 1 being sober and 10 being absolutely out of it. Probably about an 8, woman 7 says. I couldn't recognise I was feeling a bit drunk, so then I stopped drinking after that. Woman 7 says she was told by police officers that there was a possibility that other people had had sex with her that night. Asked how she felt about being told this, she said, just completely shocked and upset. I felt quite horrible within myself as well. It affected me for the week after that as well. I found it really hard because it was a big shock. George is now hearing a third interview which police conducted with woman 7. This interview concerns allegations of rape and sexual assault which she has made against a Mr. Maturi. She says that about a week after she alleges she was raped by Mr. Mendy, she went to a Manchester nightclub for a night out with a friend and met up with woman 6, who was with Mr. Maturi in the VIP area. They stayed at the club until the early hours and went to the apartment at Chapel Street. She says she and Mr. Maturi went to his apartment to pick up some balloons. She said she had a balloon in his bedroom and began to feel lightheaded and dizzy. Woman 7 says, as I was doing mine, the balloon, he pulled my dress up and then after it, he continued to touch me and started to have sex with me. I didn't remember saying anything. She said they got an Uber back to Chapel Street with the balloons. The officer asked, at any point, have those males even discussed the possibility of having sex with you? No, she replies. Woman 7 says that the following day she went to Mr. Mendy's house after being invited by woman 6. She says the chef was making dinner for some people. When she arrived, woman 6 and another one were leaving Geordies here. She said she and Mr. Maturi went into the cinema room and began watching Love Island with others, and later she was in the room alone with Mr. Maturi. Woman 7 says she told Mr. Maturi she was going to leave as her friends had gone, but he told her to stay as she hadn't been there that long. He was lying on top of me, he was grabbing my bum and my legs and stuff, she says. I didn't really say anything. I think I felt a bit scared to say, can you stop? And then he pushed me onto my stomach and was lying on top of me, behind me. She says she later ordered an Uber and went home. Woman 7 says she returned to Mr. Mendy's house about 2 weeks later in the early hours following a night out after being invited by Mr. Maturi. She says that a few days after charges against Mr. Mendy were made public, she said a friend had told her she had heard about some things and decided she wasn't going to return to his home. Woman 7 says she called Mr. Maturi and told him she wasn't going to return as she didn't feel safe. She claimed Mr. Maturi said that girls just do it to get money because of who Ben is. The complainant said she told him, I don't think a girl would just make something like that up. She claims Mr. Maturi started crying on the phone and that he said girls always do this and try and make them look bad and stuff. Woman 7 said she replied by saying, I don't think it was trying to make you look bad. It's just we don't feel safe anymore and we are not going to put ourselves in that position anymore, being around you or Ben or your friends. She said she had known Mr. Maturi as Ben's friend and described him as a really nice person who would order Uber rides for her and her friends. At 1:29 p.m, the jury left court for a lunch break and they returned at 2:24 p.m. Woman 7 was being questioned further about the incident in which she alleges Mr. Maturi raped her at his apartment. She claims he pulled up her dress and began touching her legs and bottom after she'd inhaled a balloon filled with nitrous oxide. She claims that Mr. Maturi then raped her. That's what her reaction was, she says. I don't really know. I was just in shock. I was not expecting that to happen. I remember feeling disgusted because I wasn't attracted to him at all. I just wanted it to stop. I didn't say anything. She says she didn't tell anyone about what happened. I didn't even remember thinking about it that much either. Woman 7 says she returned to Mr. Mendy's home the night after Mr. Choris allegedly raped her after being asked to come by her friend, Woman 6. But shortly after she arrived, Woman 6 left. Woman 7 said she asked her to stay for a while, but that Woman 6 said she had to go. I really didn't want to be there myself, she said. I didn't feel comfortable. I think I thought if there were other people there, I could make sure nothing happened. She says she and Mr. Maturi and another man went into the cinema room to watch an episode of Love Island. The other man left the room after a while. She claims Mr. Maturi sexually assaulted her by grabbing her bottom legs as she ordered an Uber home. The complainant says she went to leave and as she left, Mr. Mendy, who was in the kitchen, and said nice ASS as she left. I just ignored it, she said. Asked how it made her feel, she says, I don't know, I just felt a bit disgusted. Jurors earlier heard that Woman 7 said she called Mr. Maturi and said she wasn't going to return as she didn't feel safe. She claimed Mr. Maturi told her it was different between me and you. She said, I was saying it's not different between between me and you at all. The complainant told police she found it weird because he's so old and we are so young. The officer asked her, what did you find weird? That he was interested in such young girls, woman 7 said. At 3:16 p.m, the video interview has concluded and the jury are sent home for the day to return tomorrow morning. So I'll be back with day 16 of the Benjamin Mendy trial. Please leave your comments, much appreciated. And please, until we meet again, please stay safe, everyone. Bye for now.